What's up, y'all? Manny Carrera, your real estate resource, and this is episode number 12 of Whiskey Wednesday podcast sessions, where we sit with entrepreneurs, influencers, movers, and shakers over a glass of some fine whiskey. Today, we're going to be drinking Four Roses. This is actually one of my favorite whiskeys. Probably a really, really smooth whiskey. What do you think?
Love it so far.
Love it so far. The voice that you guys hear is my special guest. This is the co-founder of Digital Empire here in El Paso, Mike Cortez. What's up, brother?
How's it going, man?
Cheers.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on our show. You're episode number 12, man. That's my second favorite number. So congratulations on that. How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Pretty good.
Yeah, excited?
Yeah, it's probably my first podcast being on. I've done my own YouTube channel, but I've never been on a podcast, so it's kind of cool.
Okay, cool. But you do listen to a lot of podcasts, right? You were showing me your little library right now.
I'm a podcast fiend, man. I listen to any single podcast I can listen to. I'm always driving, so it just makes things much more fun on the drive instead of just music.
Radio's pretty repetitive. Huh?
Exactly.
It's pretty annoying. Cool, man. So let's start off with you telling the viewers on iTunes and YouTube a little bit about yourself.
Cool. So again, my name's Mike Cortez. I run a digital marketing firm, or an online marketing firm called Digital Empire, and we've been in business for a little over a year and a half. But I've been doing online marketing for many years. Did web design before that, graphic design before that, and been in this kind of world of marketing and advertising for a little over 8 years now. I mean, because I was doing it during college and stuff.
Nice.
So here I am now.
Cool, man. Born and raised El Paso?
Born and raised in El Paso. Yeah.
Cool,
Went to UTEP. Go Miners.
Go Miners.
Also, I saw the opportunity in the middle of college of El Paso growing to what it is now, and even where it's going from here.
Right.
And it actually made me not want to move 10 years ago. And it was one of those probably the best decisions I ever made was not moving from
That's
here.
insane that you say that, bro. I actually moved back a year and a half ago from Miami. Because I came to visit, saw the opportunity that you're talking about. I saw the growth, I saw where El Paso's headed, and realized I wanted to be here to be part of that growth instead of out in Miami. So came back, but it also one of the best decisions that I've made. I've been able to start the podcast and my vlog and my real estate business, so it's been good.
Cool.
But cool, man. So talk to us a little bit about your background. You have a background. You said you went to UTEP. You did a whole bunch of stuff. You got the digital marketing. You got your
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we'll start in college because that's where my career kind of started blossoming, I guess you could say.
Okay.
But majority of it was graphic design, learning how to draw. I was really good with computers. I was always kind of a techie at heart. My dad was a computer programmer, so I grew up understanding technology. Born 1990, so around 95, my parents brought a computer home, and that was Windows 95 came out. And that's when Internet Explorer came out.
I remember that.
Just perfect timing, you know what I mean? So I like to say I grew up alongside the internet, and I saw from at least the point where I could remember it to where it is now, and it's just
it's mind blowing.
It's mind blowing.
It's fucking
transformed. And I'm excited to see where it goes next, right? So I always knew I was going to work with computers. I just didn't know what that meant as a kid, right?
Yeah.
So somehow I got into graphic design. Had to do with just really loving Photoshop and being really good at it, and then doing a bunch of photo manipulation stuff. I'm kind of glad I learned it then as opposed to now, because right now I'd be a little punk just making memes all the time. If I knew Photoshop, that's all I would use it for. So
be laughing behind the computer.
Exactly. That would have been my life now, and I'm kind of glad I didn't start that way. But so graphic design was something I got into. I knew computers well, but I was the worst artist ever. The worst. So I had
as
to
far
learn,
as drawing or creating?
I had to learn how to draw from scratch. I had to paint, do ceramics, sculpture, just all the art stuff across the board. And really, it was a huge struggle. I was this close to kind of giving up on it. And then probably a few semesters in, I saw some faith. I got some faith from seeing okay, I've gotten a lot of progress.
You saw your progress.
So, and I really like the creative process of things. So I always had this kind of personality where my brain's just 1,000 places at once. Same. So I'm just thinking of 20 different things at a time, and it helped me get some success in the graphic design world. But I realized, I'm when I graduate, I'm not going to be the best graphic designer out there.
Right.
I'd rather be, actually this is how I found out this was through a professor. He told me, he was an older Asian man named Mr. Wong.
Mr. Wong, shout out Mr. Wong.
Mr. Wong, dude. I hope you're doing well.
What's his first name?
This right now.
What's his first name?
I think it was Albert Wong, and I could be wrong. or it could be Wong, but you know,
Wong.
that's me being a marketer there. But he told me like early on when I was in graphic design, he's like, you know what, Mike, you would be a great art director, but a horrible graphic designer. And this is like me, graphic design too. What do I do with that? I was like,
You're like,
I mean, like, I'm going to be a graphic designer. I thought I'm going to school for graphic design.
And he's telling you that you're going to be a...
And he's like, you could be a good art director, but not a graphic designer. So I was like, what does that mean? Can I still graduate as a graphic designer? How do I get to that level? And it got me thinking a little bit differently about content and my value to like businesses, right? So
did that kind of make you reevaluate your strengths and your goals and kind of hone in on your strengths?
100%. Well, I mean, I was also a little intimidated and kind of like disappointed by that. So I was like, okay, do I really want to be a graphic designer? Should I just stop graphic design? There was a lot of questions, but it got me to look into other avenues outside of graphic design where I was like, okay, well, maybe there's something else I could learn on top of this that would make me more valuable to, let's say, because when you go to college, you're looking for a job.
Yeah,
essentially,
right?
Business. How do I get hired for an agency or whatever? So I started learning how to code. I did pretty well. I took a class like in college, and I knew more than the professor as far as coding goes.
Really?
So I was just kind of like, I mean, what do I do with this? Like, there's something here that I have because everybody was too afraid to learn how to code because it's a little intimidating.
It is very intimidating. I actually know a couple buddies of mine back in Florida that did it.
Yeah, it's not easy. Tough. I mean, it takes a different mindset. And another professor told me before I graduated, I asked him like, hey, what do you think about me learning web design, or at least pursuing web design, so that I could get a better gig, a better job? And he told me something on the lines of, you know what, either be a graphic designer or be a web designer. You can't be both. Mm-hmm. So again, I got shot down. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like I had these I guess ideas of where I could go, and these people that I looked up to kept bringing me down to a point where it made me question if I should be in this position now.
Right.
Now, because I went against his word and I learned web design, I actually got hired for a local firm called Fuzzy Red Panda, and they work for NFL teams, NHL, the PGA Tour.
Really?
I did stuff for the Oregon Ducks, for Texas A&M,
nice.
The Bruins in the NHL, the Rangers NHL, Oakland Raiders NFL.
So all this came from you going against the advice that all the professors were giving you, exactly. Which was, you're not going to do it, you're not going to be good.
Either be one of us or don't be one of us was kind of like what they were trying to get me to be, right? I went against the grain, and now I'm even more against the grain. I'm not even a graphic designer anymore. I'm an online marketer, right? Yeah. But I guess that kind of got me to think about what my value was for businesses,
right?
And how could I actually provide value? Because even when I was doing stuff for, let's just say, the Raiders or any of these teams, I kind of felt like, okay, I'm doing cool graphics, I'm making nice infographics and web pages and whatever, but what am I really doing for them? Like, are they getting an immediate ROI on what I'm doing, or is it just looking nice for social media? Because at the time, this is like 2012, when I graduated, 2013, so social media was big, but not like it is now, right? Like right now, you got a whole ecosystem around you, right?
And I think it's still very underrated. Mm-hmm. Very underrated still, you know?
It's definitely not mainstream just yet, but it will be there pretty soon, within the next year or two. Mm-hmm. That whiskey's really good, by the way, man. That's good.
Smooth. 4 Roses. Get your boy a bottle sponsorship.
Is that the tagline? Get your boy a bottle.
Get your boy a bottle.
Where do we leave off? We were talking about.
So, talking a little bit about your school and you going against your grain, against the grain and against other people's advice. Mm. To go after that, you landed some good deals, some good work deals, but then you kind of started thinking, you know, is this all I'm doing for them? There's no ROI. Is it just a social media post to look pretty? Looking at was a bigger impact, or what were you kind of?
Well, what was my value to? Why is someone going to pay me for a service? Like, what real value do I have to provide besides here's a new logo or here's a nice brochure? You know what I mean? I felt like that just wasn't enough. And then on top of that, sites like Elance were coming out, 99 Designs. Now there's like Fiverr. Now there's also Upwork. And it's me competing with like
Flyer.
Is that another one?
Yeah.
I just stopped looking. It depressed me. It made me so depressed, so I just stopped looking because it's just like more competition.
That's actually the Whiskey Wednesday promo
designed that for
we
you.
do every single Wednesday.
It's so easy to make a design now. That's actually nice. You know what I mean? So I saw that a while back, and I kind of saw the writing on the wall. So I decided I'm going to learn web design, and then Squarespace came out when I was doing web design, and I was like, crap. Now I got to move on to the next thing because.
So you were just kind of getting knocked down by big competition. Is that what you're kind of going after?
It was devaluing what it was I was doing for customers.
It's hard to put a value to the work that you're doing when somebody could download an app and maybe make something not as good, but maybe
now that's the case. Before it was me competing with like people in India that were charging $2 an hour.
Yeah.
Or in Guatemala doing just whatever it was for super cheap. Now you can build a whole firm around just those people.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the dollar just goes way farther for them, so they're more than happy to work for that amount. I can't do that though. I got bills to pay. I got S to take care of. I don't know if you can cuss or anything. That's
you can cuss.
Okay, I was like, I've never said S before. That's
no, you can cuss. Yeah, I'm actually cussing all the time here.
All right, cool.
Maybe one day we're gonna have to stop, but I don't think so.
I don't know. That's why I like podcasts.
Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan.
That's why I love podcasts.
Yeah, so it's cool.
Freedom
of speech.
So I kind of moved on from web design because of that. Because Squarespace came out, Wix, so many, even WordPress to a certain degree just makes it stupid easy to build a website, right? Yeah. So then my next mission was, okay, what's the next thing that I have to go after? And that's where it got me into a mentality of adapting, right? Like,
yeah, you gotta adapt or die.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the strongest or the smartest who survive, it's those who adapt.
Yeah.
Right? That's Charles Darwin, I think, said that. But that's a way of life, right? Like, and that's where I see things going with AI, with robotics, with everything that we're dealing with right now.
See it too. I see it in every industry though. I see it even in real estate. Like my industry isn't a industry that I don't see people buying houses from realtors in the next 20 years. And that's just the way it is, I see really people buying houses online, literally like a shop and go, like, oh, virtual tour,
or using like Matterport or something to get the virtual.
Exactly. So I think every type of business is eventually going to be like that,
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be that human element, right?
Of course.
But there's just going to be less people with those gigs because they're going to be a little bit more than just salesmen. They're also going to be like technicians. They're also going to be who knows what else. Mm-hmm. So I left that agency because I was kind of getting tired of just doing graphics and web design.
Just want to do more.
And I was a little, actually, to be honest with you, I was a little depressed because it got me thinking, like, why did I go to school for this? Why?
Just weren't happy.
I wasn't happy, you know what I mean? And at the time, this is like 2014 maybe. No, 2013. It was like 4 years ago. I was following Ty Lopez. He had just barely like taken off. And this is before he was even charging for like the 67 steps. I found out about him somehow. I don't even remember how.
Or because of an ad that he probably put up.
No, see, here's the thing. I already had ad blocker installed back then. Yeah, because I'm a techie. Dude. So
I didn't even know that existed.
and this is what the irony of what I do is I'm blocking all of that noise, right, from myself, even though I'm an online marketer, making the noise as well, right?
You're clapping with some earmuffs on.
Yeah,
can't hear it. But
it's like, not here, not today.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I actually didn't hear about that commercial until he released some kind of call to action, like, I'm doing a conference in person in Santa Monica in 2 weeks. Either you're going to be here or you're going to miss out. And this is before he had done any conferences or anything like that. I think it was probably the second one that he had ever done, and the first one was a hit. So he pretty much gave me 2 weeks. I had saved up about $6,000 from my job to take off and be a freelancer. And what happened there was I used probably about 50-60% of that just for that Santa Monica trip. So I made an investment on the tickets. This is my fun about ClickFunnels and sales funnels, because I realized, he got me like with the upsells.
Yeah.
Pay $300 more and you'll get a quote unquote private seminar with just me and a select few people. Yeah, I'll take that. $200 extra. I'll take that. $300 extra. Before you know it, I'm paying easily over $1,000 for just him, right? But I was
worth it.
Oh yeah, dude. So I was so bought into his philosophies, and to now I don't follow him as religiously as I used to, but I really like his core values, like his 67 steps, and he got me to read a book a day, a book a week. Started with the book a year to a book a month, and then a book a week, and then it just kind of picked up. Right now, I'm just a huge reader.
That's good.
But what happened there was really funny because that's what launched me into this world that we're in now. Is I just go, I sign up, and then I pay for the tickets. It's only 2 weeks, so from Texas to Santa Monica was probably like 800-900 round trip.
Yeah.
Because it was last second. You know what I mean? And so I'm just like watching my money, all that money I saved up for, you know.
And at that time, tell me. Let's see if you could go back. What was your mentality? Was there, in your mind, did you know that it was going to be worth it, or were you kind of nervous, like, what the fuck am I doing, or should I just go with this gut feeling, like, this is where I need to be?
You know, it was scary, regardless, but it was always that, like, I just know this feels right.
Yeah.
It's scary as fuck, but it feels right. You know what I mean? Bro. And that's how I felt about every one of those decisions I kind of told you about. Man, like, whiskey's kicking.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's gonna hit me too.
That tongue twister
it's
whiskey
about to
right
hit
there.
Me too.
So, what do you call it? So with that event, I signed up. Majority of my money's gone in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm doing this at work, so I'm just like thinking, like, man, this better be worth it because I do not want to be in this shithole right now.
You're reading the return policy, huh? You're like.
Not even that. I just didn't want to see it. I was just like, no, just get it done with, like a Band-Aid, just rip it off.
Yeah.
And what's cool is they put like a little closed group just for people that were going. And I mean, I knew absolutely nobody in Santa Monica, let alone anybody going to the conference, or that was willing to pay that much out of pocket immediately. Yeah. And I threw a shout out on Facebook on the closed group, and it said, "Hey guys, coming in from El Paso, Texas, small little town in Texas. I don't know anybody. Does anybody want to meet up 3 days before, or a day before, I think, like at a Barnes & Noble, because I knew everyone probably reads because they were part of that group. Yeah. And we'll just share books, we'll share ideas, just talk, like meet cool people, right? That was my whole, like, genuine... Like-minded people. Yeah, and that's really a big part why I wanted to go, is who knows who I'll meet, but who knows, maybe I might even work for Ty Lopez or whatever, right? And... so I get to Santa Monica, get an Airbnb, first time ever doing that, in some tiny little, like, little Iranian woman's home that was like just a pull-out bed and nice little spot. It was like, I mean, I was just trying to save money any way I could, right? Yeah, yeah. And
she cooked for you?
No, I wish. That would have been awesome.
Do, yeah.
That would have been awesome, actually. No, it was right by the beach, so it was kind of cool.
Okay.
So then I go, the day before was when I was supposed to have that meetup. And I go to the Barnes & Noble. I didn't realize how big this Barnes & Noble was that I chose, but it was like 3 or 4 different stories tall. And here in El Paso, we don't have like, we only have like your standard one-story one.
$50.
So to me, I was just like blown away, like, holy crap, there's escalators in a Barnes & Noble? Like, what's going on?
We had a huge one too in Miami. There was a three-level one.
Well, now I see them all the time, right? But that was the first time I'd ever seen that. You know what I mean? I was blown away. Yeah. So I'm going up the escalators, just kind of wasting time before we come in, and this dude that I'm still really good friends with, Julian Sanders. Julian, if you're watching this.
Shout out Julian.
Shout out Julian, man. So he's coming down the escalator and I'm coming up. I don't know anybody. And he's like, "Are you Mike?" As we're like kind of like passing, as we're passing ways, I'm just kind of like I'm looking at me. Yeah, right. Trying to high five him. He's just like, so I told him like, "Hey, well, meet me there. Like I'll come down and we'll talk." And he's like, "Yeah, I just recognize you from the post and just want to see who shows up." Cool. Well, let's see if we can maybe like get a room or something and get all the people that join. I'm expecting like 5 people, dude, like tops. I was just happy to get one person to go because nobody. Actually, what I left out was I forgot about that post, and the day that I got to Santa Monica, there was 400 likes, 200 comments, and I hadn't answered any of them. And I'm just like, oh crap, people are asking where we should meet, and I'm like, everyone's like putting it on me because I'm the one that started the post. And I just kind of threw out there, Barnes & Noble, 3rd Street Promenade or whatever it was called. And so another person, calls me out like, "Hey, you Mike?" I'm like, oh crap, this is weird. I don't know anybody in Santa Monica. Yeah, like it was weird, dude. Yeah. So
you don't know anybody, but everybody's recognizes you.
Yeah, it was super strange, man. But it was kind of like a little like 2 seconds of fame for me. But I'm upstairs, and then I realize, oh, you know what? Everyone's probably like, if anyone's down here, they're probably downstairs, and you just go look for them. Sure enough, I'm going down the very bottom of the escalator, and there's like a group of people. I'm not joking. 30 people showed up.
Holy shit!
To me, that's a big deal because I just threw out a little shout out.
Dude, you didn't know anybody out there.
Knew absolutely nobody. Now I have 30 friends. You know what I mean? It was just like this amazing moment. So I just hear people like whispering, "Is that Mike? Is that Mike?" Yeah, like I'm a celebrity. Like I'm Ty Lopez's like assistant or something. I don't know what. But so I'm like, oh crap, this is way too many people for a Barnes and Noble. So I just kind of like take leadership, and I'm like, you know what? Let's probably go somewhere else, guys. Maybe a restaurant, and we can help out that business, and like, you know, just bring them some extra bucks with the crowd of 30. Like, why not? So we go to some Mediterranean place around the corner, and I mean they're overwhelmed.
30 heads.
Yeah, 30 people come in. They didn't even have enough like tables, barely any chairs.
Lapping it.
Yeah. So I'm just sitting down, and people are like getting up and like switching seats. So people like wanted to talk to me, like I'm some like influencer or something. I just threw out a Facebook post. Dude. That's all
you're just like trying to meet some friends.
Yeah, exactly. I just
walked away with 30 friends.
I'm just lonely, but now I got friends.
Yeah. So talk to me about the event. How was the event, and how did that kind of change your perspective on things, or did it change your perspective on things?
Well, it definitely got me into like the entrepreneur mindset. Okay. And that was something I was always interested in. I didn't even know really what the word meant until around that time period.
What did you think? What was the first thought in your mind? Because I could literally go back 3-4 years, and I could tell you that the word entrepreneurship meant no job, not doing shit.
Yeah.
To a lot of people.
Unemployed.
Yeah, unemployed. You're not doing anything.
Yeah,
because I would get that too. Like my sister would tell me, I'm like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, and she's like, you just don't have a job. I'm like, fuck.
Well, yeah, but
well, yeah.
What do you say it that way?
That is true, but hold on. So how did that introduction to entrepreneurship kind of change you, and what did that do for you?
Well, I mean, the big, I guess, turning point for that mindset was honestly all the reading. The reading was just, it threw me into like a whole different personality that I just hadn't tapped into before. You know what I mean? Now I could have conversations with people on multiple different levels, as far as business goes, as far as culturally, history-wise.
Books are the gateway to freaking knowledge.
100%. And then the thing is too, I mean, there's no reason you can't do like audiobooks. People are like romantic about reading as well. It's just information at the end of the day. Like, how do I get
how do you absorb that? Just in school, like, are you a visual? Are you more of a, I need to see it in person?
Yeah.
So that's the best way that you kind of learn.
Yeah, and as far as that conference goes, it got me to meet people that were just different, that were thinking differently, that were on a different frequency. All of them, some came from 10 times farther than I ever came from. You know what I mean? Like, they're from Australia, New Zealand, China. My friend Julian, the first one that saw me or pointed me out, was from Washington, D.C. And I think he made like a road trip all the way out there. He had no money. And he was in a way worse position than I was. I was actually, saved up money. And that dude's an inspiration for me, because he just told me that day, he's like, I've never met Ty, I've never met any of his staff, but I'm going to work for that dude. And about a year later, I get a call from him saying, hey dude, I'm coming through El Paso because I'm driving from Washington, D.C. and it's like a straight path to LA with I-10 and stuff. So he's like, I'm just going to go to LA and figure it out. Like, I'm still going to work for Ty, but I'm just going to figure it out. And I was like, oh, you got a job? Like, you got the gig? He's like, nope. No. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, just the balls on that dude, and I respect him so much. Huh?
Did he get it?
Yeah. A year later, maybe about half a year later, I'm watching Ty's videos, and I see him just standing next to him. He's actually still in his videos now.
Oh yeah, dude.
Julian Sanders. He was his assistant, and he did some. He managed his social media accounts for a good while. So he's the guy that inspired me to get into online marketing.
Okay.
And when he kind of brought up certain practices and stuff, I was always aware of like Facebook ads and just pretty much sales funnels and retargeting and all this stuff. But then I just kind of got more curious about it and more curious, and then I went down this rabbit hole, and I was like, crap, I got everything I need to run this kind of type of business. I'm a graphic designer. I could create my own content. I'm a web designer. I could code majority of these landing pages if I wanted to. I'm tech savvy, so I could at least adjust based on what the requirements were, and that just got me into another like upward spiral. And I think that's probably the moment I was waiting for, as far as what my purpose was, or at least my skill set that was worth somebody paying thousands for,
Right.
as opposed to here's a website that you need a website, but that's about it. Like people just there's no real value there. Now I can
Right.
charge them a couple thousand every month as opposed to a one-time fee of $2,000 for a website. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it gives me much more freedom, and it's all automated, which is beautiful. I love that. I love that portion the most.
Yeah, definitely. Automation is what I think a lot of businesses need nowadays, just to stay afloat and stay in competition.
Yeah.
Because time is very valuable. So for a business owner to be spending his time, constantly trying to get ads, where it's not automated, it's draining.
Yeah.
I think so. Talk to us a little bit about the business, about Digital Empire. When did that start? At what point? After this, event at Ty Lopez, you came from it and you decide, okay, this is what I need to do, and this is where it's gonna start.
Okay, so Digital Empire sprouted around the time, maybe like about a year after the Ty Lopez event. So 2 weeks after that event, came back to El Paso. That's when Uber was also kind of new in El Paso. So I was just doing that for like extra cash on the side. And I met a bunch of just really interesting people because they're all fairly responsible.
Fucking Uber's so badass to meet people. I was trying to do it in Miami, but I had a 2-door BMW.
Oh.
So I was like, shit,
I
want a 4-door.
Tough life in a BMW 2-door, man. Poor guy.
No, but I really wanted to. I wanted a 4-door just to do Uber so that I can meet people.
No, it's definitely.
You can meet so many different types of people,
People were constantly giving me business cards because sometimes you're in a car for like half an hour, 40 minutes, depending on traffic, and you just talk.
Right.
Some people are rude and don't want to talk, which is fine. It's not my business to talk to them. But I ended up running into this guy that was he's about 10 years older than me. His name's Lucas Hudek. This dude's traveling around the world right now. He's like he was a very strong business mentor in my life, along with his business partner Omar Campos. They ran a merchant services company, like for POS systems and credit card transactions and all that.
Swipes.
That was a whole other world that I was just thrown into that I had no idea existed.
I got introduced to that world.
That's
too.
a crazy
it's
world.
Freaking
man.
insane. It is
crazy world. I mean, it's just that it's a $1 trillion business for sure.
Right.
But anyways, what do you call it? He liked that I went to Ty Lopez. He was super excited. Gave me a job right on the spot. And I just needed some extra cash because I blew all of it for Ty Lopez. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll take it. And I like this guy a lot. He's like, just call me in 2 weeks because I'm going to be in Brazil. I'm like, damn, this guy's like traveling everywhere. He's young. He was only about 30, maybe 7 at the time or so. And I just kind of did, kind of grunt work for them, learning the business, doing a lot of business operations stuff, running like a manager almost for the business. They were a startup, but they were worth, a couple million or so. They were doing really well. They're working out of like a condo and stuff. They're living the life for sure, man. They're still doing extremely well. But they gave me the opportunity to start a branch off of 2020, and it was like a media company with my skill sets because they saw that I had something that was of value, and they're like, we could sell this, and they had a huge portfolio of people they could reach out to. Long story short, that kind of fell through the cracks. We brought in, my friend Julian, we brought in some other people that were much more experts, that they were much more in tune with what was going on online marketing than I was. And I just wanted to learn from them.
Right.
And I think there was just too many cooks in the kitchen. Things just didn't line up like they should have.
Right.
But I was still obsessed with this whole online marketing thing. So I just branched off. Things fell apart. We're on good terms, all of us. No harm, no foul. And I started just my own freelancing career. Was building my website. I was just going to go by Mike Cortez because I read a book called Education for Millionaires. And in that book, it talks about how all the biggest names in the world are somebody's name, like biggest business names, like Wells Fargo, Gucci, think Chanel, think any big name out there or any big brand. Generally, besides the tech brands, are all someone's name. Yeah. So it's like just run with your name, even if you don't think it's a good name. Just run with it, and people will recognize it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I kind of went with that philosophy, and then started building the website, getting the business cards, everything like that. And I met this dude that was at a gym that I go to, like a calisthenics gym, a gymnastics gym. And he was talking about the same things I was, sales funnels, for Facebook ads, retargeting, e-commerce. And then he wrote out a shout out saying, hey, if you're a business owner, I'll do Facebook ads for free. Just pay for ad spend. Just give me a DM or whatever. So I hit him up just to ask him like, hey, what do you know? Like maybe we could share some information and resources, because I'm a huge like information junkie, right? And that dude, I met him up with at a coffee shop at Giovanni Bronson's.
I love Giovanni.
It's a great spot, man.
Bro,
very good spot.
It's freaking hidden gem.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know about it.
Salt and honey and coconut.
Yeah, and I live in that area, so I'm always there.
You're in Central?
Yeah, I love Central.
Central's badass.
So we met up, and then within about...
Shout out Maggie. Salt and honey. She's one of our interviews.
Oh, nice, nice. Met this dude within 10 minutes. I asked him, how about we start a business? And that was Digital Empire. He knew just as much as I did, and I was just like, that's...
And this is your partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his name's Luke Wienis. Yeah, so we're doing well now. We're picking up steam, but it's... Nobody told you how hard it was going to be to start your own business, man.
Yeah,
there's no book that could tell you enough.
Exactly, right? So let's talk about some of those struggles that you had to go through starting up the business that you and Luke. What were some of those struggles that you guys had to learn, or some of those lessons?
Well, for one, just because we know what we're talking about doesn't mean anybody knows what we're doing. You know what I mean?
100%.
Because we're both like super nerds that are really into like the automation side of things and efficiency and systems and whatever. To us, it's like it's our language, right? But when we start speaking to, let's just say, some mom and pop shop or a restaurant owner or whatever, they're trying to even figure out why they need Facebook or why they need a website.
Right.
And it's like a total like uphill battle just to get them to understand the surface of it.
Where the attention's at.
Yeah. So that was a big struggle for us and kind of an eye opener as far as like, okay, who should we be talking to?
Yeah.
So then we realized we have to be going after the bigger fish as far as they, or people are just extremely competitive or they need the next edge. Like real estate agents are a great example because you guys are just in the trenches. Everybody's like copying from everybody.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of guys are copying your podcast right now just because.
Joe Boys.
You know who you are.
Joe Boys.
So that's we kind of realized who was going to be more open to hearing us out, and because of it, I mean we're picking up a lot of steam and getting bigger accounts.
So what type of clients are you guys targeting?
Targeting, we're still trying to find out which niche is the best fit for us. Right. But we work from anyone from furniture stores to restaurants, bars. Real estate is something we're barely getting into. It's a tough nut to crack. We're helping with schools. So like we've spoken to some private colleges, some barber colleges. We're trying to figure out, okay, what's the best fit for us right now.
Right.
And from there, it's just kind of, once we find that niche, we're going to conquer that niche and build our empire there. So that's kind of like the meaning behind Digital Empire is we want to build, there's a great quote from, what's his name, Heisenberg from Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm not in the business of making money, I'm in the business of building empires.
Yeah.
So
no, I remember that show. I used to be a fanatic of that show.
Like you lost your.
And when he said that, I was just like, "Money done changed you, Eisenhower. Money done changed you." But that's really where I think the big brands come out. The Apples,
there has to be that bigger vision.
It's the bigger picture. It's not so much of the millions. Yeah, you can make millions. You could. I think there's a lot of opportunity for people to make businesses that can become $100 million. Companies.
There's 1,000,001 ways to make money. And it's like, to me, the problem is not making money, it's where do I want to put my attention to, right? Where am I willing to be suffering in, like what's
suffering, you mean putting your time, putting your energy, putting, the discipline that you need to into that craft.
Because I can be that person that's kind of pulled just 1,000 ways at once, and I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none, right?
Exactly.
So I just kind of doubled down on online marketing. I saw it as a huge opportunity. We're on a kind of an upward, I guess you could say like hockey stick ramp right now. It's not mainstream yet, but it's still it's very. There's a lot of businesses using it right now, at least in the Fortune 500 businesses. Right. As far as the mom and pop shops go, nowhere near.
It's gonna take a while, I feel.
It takes time
for them to catch.
And there's always gonna be a next thing. You know what I mean? Marketers ruin everything. Like what's his name says, Gary Vaynerchuk. Right?
Yeah. Marketers
ruin everything, so they're gonna ruin what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Well. And it's just so crazy how it's changing and how fast it's changing, right?
Yeah, it's for sure an exponential growth. So my responsibility and my business partner is better at this. he's always constantly just doing research, development, finding out what's the next thing that Facebook's talking about, that Google's talking about.
Because these guys are changing their algorithms all the freaking time.
Constantly.
They're changing everything, and it for anybody that's in social. Like I'm heavy on social. I'm heavy on story. I'm heavy on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And it's so hard to. I see the changes. Like as I'm moderating my story, I'm like, what the hell? This is new, and this just changed how many viewers.
Told me.
Like what the fuck? Yeah. So it's like something that you can't just. I don't even think just read up on either. It's something that you have to live and breathe every single day. Mm-hmm. Social media is like a breathing organism,
Yeah, because internet time, a year is 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A week is a month.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how fast people forget about people that died already. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Anthony Bourdain just died like a week ago.
And now we're talking about...
And we're talking about XXXTentacion, or extension, or how do you say it?
Tentacion. I'm actually a big fan. And I got pretty down, bro. I mean, somebody with a lot of talent like that, especially dying in Miami, it's pretty sad how he died, but yeah, that's totally true. I think the attention span is so short, and it's so small, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm looking at analytics from ads that I'm running, and I'm seeing my 10-second the 10-second absorption rate is, it's good, it's a lot of people, but that's what I'm seeing. It's a lot of people only looking at 10 seconds of a video that's 60 seconds or 40 seconds, so that just shows you, like, attention span is going so quick. It's so hard to adapt.
Even though that being the case, it's you also find out, it weeds out those that aren't worth your time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but that's kind of one of our philosophies with Digital Empire is the power of the internet isn't so much that everyone's on the internet, it's that you can now talk to only those that matter. That are in a segmented conversation, right?
Because there's behaviors and demographics that you can focus on.
Just even let's just say breaking down to people that watch 50% of your video versus people that only watch like 3 seconds. Yeah. Those are the people you want to focus on. Those are the people you want to retarget. Yeah. And because for whatever reason you're resonating with them and they like what you're saying. Yeah. People get kind of like very superficial about it, and they're like, not enough people are watching my videos. It's like, no.
You just need the handful of people that are very interested in your message and what you're trying to sell.
There's a term called the True 1000 Fans, right? I think it's by Kevin Calley or something. Calley. If you look up first, True 1000 Fans, it's a good article. It's been around since like the early 2000s, but the whole philosophy is just find the 1,000 people that will do anything you say, that love everything you do, no matter what. Die hard. Yeah. Like the first people I ever found, like Gary Vaynerchuk on Wine Library. Yeah. Like he would have like nothing on his channel, just like 10 views a day or whatever it was.
When he started he started the hustle. Yeah. Back in the day.
But he eventually he found his 1,000 fans, and he just focused on them and like, how do I get them to find more fans for me, and then more fans. It's like a whole,
because that creates word of mouth. That creates and I think that's how businesses really explode.
And not only that, if I had 1,000 people, let's just say, that were willing to buy any product I make, I could tell them just pay $10 a month for whatever
news article, or I'm going to provide you things.
Well, it's 120,000.
Let me pull out my phone.
Yeah, right. No, it's I think 120,000 just off of those 1,000 fans paying $10 a month.
$10 a month.
Now, if you could get them all to pay $500 or whatever it is, bring them up the value ladder. Yeah. But the thing is, you have to find out who your first 2,000 fans are before you even jump the gun and try to like capitalize on your audience. You can always do it, but it's just a matter of the more you know about who you're trying to talk to, the better you can find more of them. Right. And 1,000's a good starting point, or a good pool to work with.
That's a really good kind of method or thing to think about. You got me thinking for sure. for sure. So talk to me about why. That's one of the biggest questions, because I still think a lot of people viewing and hearing don't really know what it is that you do for businesses. So why does a business need to focus on digital marketing nowadays?
Okay, so the eyeballs are not on TV anymore. They're not on radio. You and me were just talking about podcasts. Yeah. I haven't listened to the radio in, I don't know, 5 years or something like that. And if let's just say my phone dies, I just turn off the radio. I'd rather it just be like white noise.
Yeah, like
than I'd rather
Zen.
meditate than
Zen,
hear
bro.
the BS that's on the radio.
Yeah.
So I mean, even my parents right now. My mom has an iPhone now. She's sending me emojis. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole different. Even the older generations are adapting now, and they don't have any cable. They only have HBO Go or something. Or
to that, I agree
Netflix
because my demographics. When I'm looking at my demographics and who I'm targeting, my demographic right now is from 24 to 52 years old.
Yeah, it's surprising, right?
It's surprising
You
because
that.
you don't expect it. I mean, I'm looking at my mom and my dad, and they're close to that age, and it's like my mom is heavy on Facebook. My dad has no idea how the fuck to log in on Facebook.
Yeah.
He thinks he was born with a Facebook account. He's like, "What's my account?" You know?
Is it like Social Security?
Yeah, and if he's
Do I get a check?
he's listening, I'm just kidding, Dad. No, but you know, there's a lot of people that don't understand social media, but surprisingly, it's catching on. You know, it's catching on with the older generations. Yeah. Even my grandma has a Facebook. Yeah. You know, it's badass. She'll message me all the time.
And that's what I love to hear as a marketer, because that means I can now go to, let's say, businesses that go after older folks. Yeah. And they'll tell me, like, there's no, like, 60-year-olds aren't on Facebook. And then I'll show them the analytics. Like, look, this is the amount of people,
how many people are
65-year-olds on Facebook. And not to mention, you know, maybe Instagram, WhatsApp, probably not Oculus for the older crowd. But that's kind of the world that we live in now. It's only going to speed up faster and faster.
Yeah, definitely. That's insane. So that's why, you know, social media is, digital marketing is important for businesses, you know?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's kind of like, I've kind of like a weird, my background, not just graphic design, it was also printmaking. Okay. So I have a love for print that is kind of there, but I don't see the value of it. Like in a transparent view, I just can't see why I could justify paying for a newspaper ad, because I haven't picked up a newspaper in even longer than the radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I read an article to that. What you were talking about is, I read an article saying today, you know, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube are the new Bravo, MTV. VH1, you know, 100%. they're that's where the attention's at, and that's where everything's at. Yeah. A lot of people that aren't on the social media, what kind of impact do you think that's going to have on their business in the next 5 years?
So social media is your voice, right? At the end of the day, it's a communication tool or platform. So customers we're getting spoiled. We're expecting our people that we interact with on a monetary level to give us something for free, or to give us discounts, or to retarget us, or only send us relevant advertisements to us because I'm into, let's just say, football, or I'm into MacBook Pros, or whatever that might be. I don't want to get ads that just aren't relevant to me anymore. It's just annoying. It's spam. You know what I mean? And so if you're not finding out, one, who your audience really is using those analytics, and you're just kind of spinning your wheels and just throwing money at the problem and hoping for the best, one, you're wasting money. Right. Two, you're kind of falling behind in 2018, 2019, 2020. It speeds up over time. It's exponential. You know what I mean? Definitely. So if you're 5 years behind, you're really like 10, 20 years behind.
Yeah, because by the time you catch on, it's you have so much catching on because it's still moving.
Yeah, and I'm super worried about, especially like, let's say in El Paso, we always, everybody here says we're 10 years behind, right? To me, that's terrifying. Like that means that, you know, when, let's just say, artificial intelligence starts taking off, or robotics starts taking more laborious kind of jobs, there's going to be a lot of people here they thought they had secure jobs that are in a different place. Yeah. My parents are fine. Your parents are fine, because I don't think that'll happen by the time they'll be retired by then, right? But what about people right now that are learning?
And even our kids. Yeah. You know, our kids. That's what scares me the most, is where everything's going is like,
no clue.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Everybody's playing catch up right now. Everybody. Even the most knowledgeable of digital marketers, the most knowledgeable of tech savvy people are always playing catch up, because nobody really knows who's holding this bar that just keeps going. It's just going, you know. So
who thought Snapchat filters would have been that big?
They're freaking everywhere. I've never seen a girl without a snap of a dog face. Yeah. Like Yeah, I know. That does suck. That does suck.
It's misleading. I thought I was gonna get a
Very
dog.
misleading.
Sexist.
You're on Tinder.
No, I'm just saying like those are very popular, especially with girls. I like filters too. I use a lot of Instagram. I'm huge on Instagram, but I love like the Instagram filters. Filters are just in general like a different way of being creative.
Who would have thought?
GIFs. GIFs are
GIFs
like
is
you
another
know.
one. But that's just kind of thing. Nobody knows where the trends are going to go. Nobody knew cell phones were going to be that impactful in our lives.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Jobs had an idea, but I don't even think he knew how big this thing was going to grow. You know what I mean? It was just
it's scary.
He had a cool idea.
Off, yeah.
You know, but it's that's kind of the scary thing. But it's also it should be more enlightening or more motivating. Mm-hmm. But I think what it is people just need to have more of a forward-thinking mentality. Right. As far as how do we prepare for the next 5 years? How do we prepare? How do we at least play around with the technologies that are out now?
Yeah.
Just to be aware. But that's what's tough to get people into, and that's what's hard about my job is getting them to see. Look, if you're not doing this now,
getting them to understand. You know.
It's a learning curve.
Because there's a lot of people I think, the older generation, some of the older generation, and I even have, I have a best friend. He's my age. He's never had a Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat.
Okay.
And that scares the shit out of me because I'm like, no, he's not rich.
How old are you?
He's not rich. 28.
28, okay, so we're the same age.
Yeah, he's not rich.
Okay.
Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's not rich. But that scares the shit out of me because I want him to be informed. Mm-hmm. And I don't think in the next 5 years, 10 years, he has a kid.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be the dad that's like, what the fuck is going on? And his kids that has a Facebook, and it's gonna be crazy. But there are still a lot of people that don't have social media, but the people that do, I think, are converting and are seeing the big picture. Mm-hmm. Even though it's really hard for them to understand, because I think just traditionally people growing up in the 80s and the 90s coming into the technology world, we're so against it because of the attention span that it's taking away from people and society, what it's doing, So there's a lot of people that are just opposed to even having a cell phone. I don't need a smartphone,
Yeah, you're going to see a lot more of that, right? Like there's going to be a whole detox, I guess you could say train or just culture that's going to start happening where people are just going to completely detox from technology. And I'm not against it. It's actually... We need balance, right, in everything we do.
Right.
I hate that, like, I'm constantly checking my phone, like, where, was that a notification or was that just me,
feeling
a buzz? It's horrible, man. Like, you're just better off just throwing your phone in the back seat because you will check your phone and
you will most likely crash.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things, like, there's definitely like a good and the bad to technology.
Right. Yeah, and I think for a while, too, selling phones. Worked there for 3.5, almost 4 years. And I was actually really good at my job. I was really good at sales. I was selling 100 phones a month, But I would start thinking about it, and towards the end of me working in Verizon, I hated my job. And I hated it for the reason that now I think is wrong, but I hated my job at the time because I didn't like what technology was doing to society. I was one of those that I was just like, I have my social media, but I was just like, I hate that I can't even have a conversation with somebody and they're not looking me in my eye. I think it's super disrespectful. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was like, I'm like the top producer here, and I'm putting 100 phones in everybody's hands every month, and I'm like,
I'm the problem.
Here, go ignore everybody. Here, go ignore everybody. So I'm like, that's the one thing I hate.
It's your fault.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. I was like, is this really what I want to do? Yeah. I don't want to do this. So I wasn't happy. But now looking at it, it's like, I'm a realtor. I'm making videos. I'm making content videos, value. I'm giving value. I want everybody to look at my shit. Everybody needs to go get new phones, Yeah. But that's just the mentality shift that I've even had in the last 2 years because of technology, where it's at, where it's going. You can't fight it. The attention's there, and it's going there.
Exactly.
You can't fight it. You have to adapt, or you're gonna die.
Yeah. There's a really good book, and I'm just gonna just time to stop recommending books.
No, bro. That's like. I was gonna ask what's your favorite book right now, but you can just spit out.
Man, that's a whole other conversation. But I have one book that I love to recommend because for people that they get scared of technology, which I don't blame them. There's a good book called Future Crimes. I think it's by Mark Goodman or something like that. Just Future Crimes. It has like a picture of like a cell phone or something in the front. And the whole thing about this book is he talks about how, look, like you were saying right now exactly, technology's going where it's going. You can't stop it.
Can't.
Don't try to stop it. Don't try to stop
Don't get
innovation.
in its way.
It's just, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, don't be afraid of change. Embrace it. But also understand there's always going to be shitty people. So the way that he kind of breaks it down is he talks about thieves, right? So the beginning of time, let's just say when the knives were invented, you had to rob people like at knife point.
You have to get close.
You have to get close to them.
Yeah.
You can maybe rob 1 or 2 people at a time, maybe.
Big knife.
Guns were created, you could rob maybe about 5 or 6 people at a time. Even all the way back to, like, let's say fire. Fire gave us, a lot of warmth. It cooked our food. It protected us from animals, but it was also used for destruction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like these technologies that are made aren't necessarily evil. There's just always going to be bad people.
Yeah.
We can't do anything about it. And people blame technology for the problem, like social media and bullying or whatever.
Yeah.
Cyberbullying.
Yeah, because you see that, and you see a lot of just junk you don't need to see or you don't want to see. You see people getting their head cut off.
Yeah.
And I think Facebook has gotten a lot better in filtering that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a problem,
Yeah.
and that problem could have turned off a lot of people from being on social media. I know for a little bit I wanted to get off social media just because of all the shit that I was seeing that I didn't want to see,
And you know what? There is a way to manage all of that, and that's something I've been really interested in starting as like a course or like a channel that just talks about this, because I am knee deep in the whole marketing world, online marketing, and I understand retargeting. I know why I got retargeted. I understand when somebody's selling me, when they're not, when they're just being genuine or whatever.
Right.
Everyone's kind of aware of it now. It's going to be a little bit more mainstream.
It's hard to be and it's hard to fake it nowadays.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, for sure.
I think nowadays, and that's what I love about this, is that people see through that fake bullshit.
Yeah.
People see genuine people. People know when the message is genuine, and they know when there's an underlining catch to whatever you're saying or doing.
Right.
And I think that generosity or that
Genuity.
Genuity?
I think she made that. I don't think that's a real word.
It
Don't trust her.
To be
I will show you a dictionary.
Genuity. She is an English major. Genuity. So that amount of genuity that you need to have nowadays when you are creating your brand, especially if you're going to be the face of your brand,
right.
I think that's super important in building that
transparency.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's why I love podcasts, right? That's why I love. Actually, that's why when I did listen to radio, I loved Howard Stern, because that dude,
I used to love Howard Stern.
He was just honest.
Yeah,
he was. I mean,
it was
he was
raw.
doing a lot of.
It was raw.
He was doing a lot of stuff to get emotion.
It was really raw.
Yeah, but he's still killing it because of that. He's just people love who he is. Good and bad.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say about the whole managing technology and everything is Facebook, Google, all these powerhouses, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever you want to call it, they give you tools to actually tell them, what do you want us to show you? What do you not want us to show you?
Really?
And the thing is, people have to just start thinking like Facebook. They have to start thinking like these, like, why are they showing you more political either sponsored posts or blogs?
Is it because you're Googling political posts?
Or you keep clicking on them? Why are you clicking on ads that are clickbait? Like 10 things Trump does that, Trump kicked a kid in or something. You're like, oh, fuck Trump. And you click on it.
And now you're fucking Trump everything.
And now you get Trump everything from like liberalasfuck.com or liberal this or
and
it
goes even deeper than that, because I know that I've even talked about shit. I've talked about shit. Not even typed it on my phone. Just like talked to a friend. Yeah. And my phone's chilling there. Yeah. And all of a sudden I'm seeing ads on something that I was talking about. I'm like, I never even...
Curious.
It's this guy's fault. This guy's fault.
He gave me the cell phones. I just took care of the rest.
I used to give them to you with the microphone.
Well, that's one thing people are like really weird about Alexa right now, or Google Assistant, right?
Right.
But I always tell, my counter to that is, you accepted having a microphone on you 10 years ago.
Well, that's the thing. Even when you're downloading these apps, it's like, okay, download, because there's 10 paragraphs that I don't want to read. Yeah. And there's little messages.
Yeah, your firstborn child is on Facebook.
Your microphone will listen to everything that you say.
Yeah. I mean, we don't read that shit.
Yeah. But that's just the world that we're in right now, and that's where marketing's going. It's like, it's really really
it's being
detailed.
controlled, especially with like the whole Zuckerberg on trial recently. I don't know if you've noticed or if you've gone in the back end of Facebook. Since then, I'm just always there, so I see it every day. But since from that moment of him going on trial to, let's just say today, that only happened like a month and a half ago or something. The back end is completely different now. They took off certain metrics, like I could see before household incomes, I could see household sizes, I could see what purchasing formats people preferred, whether it was credit card, debit card, cash. I used to know a lot of information on people. It was really creepy. But to me, I was just like, this has been around since Facebook started.
That's fucking
To
insane.
the public, they're like, you're collecting what on me?
Motherfucker.
Yeah. And to me, I was just like, okay, well, I knew this.
And there's people
No.
that, okay, let's fucking, nobody knows, but let's take advantage.
Yeah,
you know?
and what sucks, and this is a heartbreaker for real estate, is they're taking off a lot of targeting metrics for you guys as well.
Yeah, I saw.
You saw that probably,
I saw.
like homeowners, renters. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, marketers ruin everything. At the
Yeah,
end of the day,
no, that's true.
marketers ruin everything.
And that's the thing is that's why it's a living, breathing machine, because you find one little avenue, you start taking advantage of it, and then when too many people take advantage,
Yep.
it goes somewhere else.
Yep.
And that's why you.
There's going to be something else. There will be eventually,
Yeah.
right? And it's going to be even more intrusive than Facebook was, right?
Yeah, there's gonna. I'm waiting for the next.
You
what
can't
do
wait,
you
right?
no? What do you think is the next social media platform that is up and coming, or that may
Maybe not social media, but I do see the Home Assistant being the next frontier.
Alexa,
Alexa, Google Home.
definitely.
Not
Voice.
not so much because they're tracking what you're saying. I mean, I know they have to be. They have to be, because if they're listening for Alexa or OK Google or whatever, I probably start my phone by
They're
saying
just
that.
waiting for that word. Huh?
Yeah, so if they're listening for that, that means they're listening to everything else, because
Yeah.
they have to hear that one word, right? The call word. But for me, it's kind of like, how do you use that format in your favor, right? I know, right? I hate to be the.
No, this is like I'm just like.
But I know.
No, but that makes 100%
Mm.
sense. That's why they have to listen, Because if we want a phone that can do everything and, hey Siri, text this person, or hey, remind me about this.
So one thing everyone should always remember, and this is my kind of a motto that I got from probably that Future Crimes book, is when something is free, you aren't the customer, you're the commodity. So just think of it that way. If you're signing up for Google, if you're signing up for Instagram, if you have even a LinkedIn account, anything that you're giving away openly, like a login, if you're not paying for the service 10 days a month or whatever it is, you're the customer, because you have to pay for that somehow. It's business. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to pay for their service that they provided to you. I'm not upset about it. I don't think anyone should be either.
Right.
If the service is because people also say like, well, then how do I keep in touch with my friends? Like, welcome to supply and demand. Facebook has something you want. Are you willing to give your information for that? That's your choice. And people are very not finicky. What's the word? Maybe more loose with their information than they think. They think they're being very
Because what's an
protective.
email? What's an email? Date of birth,
right.
male or female?
Right.
What is that to me? But it's
think
really,
about that login for with your Facebook account button, or one click to log in with Google.
right.
You don't know what information you're giving them.
Well, I'm giving them my fingerprint, and I'm giving them my, I'm giving them a lot of stuff.
You're giving them a lot.
Yeah.
They probably disclose it like in the terms and services, but you're for the sake of your convenience, you're giving your information for convenience, right? That's your trade-off.
Right.
I mean, just accept it. Now, if you don't want that, well then, maybe there's another alternative to it.
Write your friends a letter.
Yeah.
Send it by mail.
Old school, That's probably the only way.
Luke's watching now.
Yeah, right. He's probably watching.
Luke's
right now.
on.
Oh, he's watching right now.
Your partner.
What's up, Luke?
Luke, what's up, brother?
Yeah. Should have joined, man. You missed out on the whiskey.
You're missing out on some good Four Roses whiskey. We need a
Four
refill.
Roses. That was really
Actually,
good.
we get one right now.
Yeah, so that's. I didn't mean to like scare everyone with that, but
No, it's not scary. I think it's something that I already knew about it.
Mhm.
I'm just being a little animated, but I think it's something that people in general, a lot of people don't know,
Mhm.
and a lot of people don't understand. Like, why am I seeing a lot of ads about Jeeps?
Yeah.
When I just mentioned the other day to my tia that I wanted a Jeep, you know?
Yeah.
But that's something that you have to understand. That's the way technology is. That's where it's going.
Yeah.
You know? Where do you see technology, the digital marketing space going or being in the next 10 years?
Oh man.
Which scares the shit out of me. 'Cause
Yeah.
I need another drink.
Yeah. Can we cut before? Yeah. No, that's gonna be
Yeah. See, are we live?
Yeah.
Okay. Hang
Just
on,
tell
live.
me, be back.
whiskey break.
No, we can hang on with live.
Yeah.
Whiskey business with Mike Cortez. Can we change it up, Paul?
So, I think I love hearing this stuff, and I feel like the next 5-10 years maybe, the prestige that a lawyer doctor had now is what anybody who's a computer scientist or a digital anything is going to be in the future. But since there's going to be so many, it's whoever does it the best.
Well, like when you really look into like artificial intelligence, it's scary. Like it's scary how much better they're doing than most professionals.
AI?
AI, yeah.
Yeah.
AI scares the shit out of me too.
What was the question that you said before we cut it off?
Where do you see?
Oh, in the next 10 years?
Yeah, in the next 10 years.
Let
Let us know if we got any questions for those of you that are.
Yeah.
You had a question?
I was
Yes.
just waiting until you asked me.
Yeah, so those of you that are live, if you guys have any questions for our guest Mike Cortez, the owner of Digital Empire, make sure you guys drop them. We'll be answering them here on the podcast. We're still rolling, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So we're back. We got some whiskey on the way.
On the way,
Four
yeah.
Roses, right? It's
Cheers.
good, huh?
That was really good.
I've actually drinking this whiskey before.
What's
on
your
the
go-to?
podcast, but my go-to, Macallan 18.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
I like
you
your
too.
style. I like your style. Well, that's more Scotch, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Macallan?
it's
That's Scotch whiskey.
it's
go
probably
wrong
some
with
of the
Macallan.
best that I've tried.
Nice.
Well, my favorite is Macallan 25, but
Okay.
they don't have it here.
Excuse me. With your perdón.
Perdón.
With your BMW, the 2-door Uber.
I wanted to be an Uber. For
Yeah.
that. So going back to the question, where do you see the digital marketing space in the next 10 years?
Right now, do you have AirPods?
I do.
Okay.
I love AirPods.
So I think that's kind of one of the first steps into augmented reality. Not so much in the visual, like Minority Report, where we see a bunch of like this stuff going on, where we're
With
like the
little
calendar, and I'm like,
one glass and
yeah, not so much that. Maybe if there's like a contact or something, that would be cool.
right.
But augmented reality, as far as voice, as far as I think voice might be the first step for augmented reality.
Voice, yeah.
So with voice, you might get some kind of ad, or let's just say if you're in and you have your AirPods at all times. Let's say as an example, you walk into the cigar shop, and it tells you the specials of the day, or it tells you, so and so is around the corner. Your friend, invite them for.
Like, hey,
Invite them for a cigar. Like, you want to call your friend,
Sosa is 2 minutes away.
Yeah, you want to call your
Shit.
friend to get a whiskey.
That would be so badass. It's like an assistant.
So and that's the thing is, I think it's almost like that movie Her. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
No.
That's a
I
badass
heard
movie.
the gasp.
That's a really good movie.
I think that's kind of where it's going to be, and it's going to be like having a conversation constantly with your AI or whatever it is that you're talking to, and she's going to give you suggestions based, and it'll probably be like, this is a sponsored post, but your friend so and so is in the area. Do you want to grab a drink with them at, it's happy hour?
Holy shit.
You know what I mean?
That would be so badass. That's a sponsored post.
Or you're driving by and you have, because I don't know, whatever it is, we're gonna have something constantly connected to us now besides phones, even while we drive or whatever. That's why I think it's audio, because we can get away with that.
You just blew my mind.
Yeah. Sorry.
Dude, I'm not lying. You just blew my fucking mind.
You'll be
So,
35 and you'll be able to play episode number 1.
Yeah.
well, not only that,
We're
but
already there, too.
like what he just said is paid sponsored voice ads. So if you're in downtown San Jacinto Plaza and Google detects that you're in San Jacinto Plaza, and Google also detects that the Sosas are at Vitolas, couple blocks away,
Hit them up.
it's gonna tell me, hey, international, you guys should grab a drink at International right now. It's happy hour 2 for.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Are you gonna go or not? Like, you probably will.
Dude, yes. If somebody's whispering in my ear, that's like the devil.
Yeah.
Like the devil in my range. Like, stop
it.
Stop.
I was there yesterday. Stop
it.
Yeah, so that's
insane.
That's one way. I mean, my guess is augmented reality, but it's also going to be artificial intelligence doing a lot of decision making for you, to where even like kind of like how I said my past gigs were obsolete. I think my online marketing gig will be obsolete eventually because of augmented reality. It's just going to be so ridiculously easy to market to only those who matter that it's going to be a tool that small business owners can now. It's going to empower them as well.
What do you think that's going to do to competition, though? If it's going to be that easy to direct?
For everybody? Well, the early adopters are going to be the ones taking the cake. You know what I mean? So if you catch wind of that, let's just say, about 3 years earlier or whatever that might be,
right?
That would be the opportunity for you to just. That's kind of like everyone right now is jumping on Assistant, because I think Gary Vaynerchuk made a big push for it, like in his podcast and his book, Crushing It, the voice assistant.
Oh yeah.
Specifically like Alexa and the skills and all that.
Yeah. On his new book, he mentioned that.
Yeah. So right now, people are taking his advice, and you're seeing a lot more skills come out.
As I am, I actually talking a little backtrack on the event that you went to with Ty.
Yeah.
You bought the ticket, super expensive. You made the investment. You came back with so much knowledge that it helped you within a year start your digital empire.
Legit.
And that's really what happened in January 19th this year.
Okay.
Went to a Gary V event in Fort Lauderdale.
Nice.
And it was the most intimate event I've ever been to, and I was so happy on everything, the way it turned out.
Okay.
Because it was at the Dolphin Stadium.
Nice.
Huge football stadium.
Was it
right?
full?
200 people there.
200 people?
200 people there. The most intimate environment.
But it was at the Dolphin Stadium?
We were all.
Were you guys like in like a little lunchroom or something?
We were all on the field.
Really?
In the middle of the field, in a little group, 200 people. I was literally like 20 feet away from Gary.
Was this a conference, or was this like he threw a shout out like, hey, I'm going to be at the...
No. This was a training. I paid $1,400.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even know you did
I
that.
paid $1,400 to go to this event.
Okay.
That was the ticket. Just it was a big investment that I made going over there, but that one-day event, that $1,400 ticket that I did, gave me so much freaking knowledge, and it gave me a new game plan for my business, And that's why we came back and met the Sosas. We got the podcast running, we got our vlog running, we got the content pumping, and that's really thanks to that event. That one event changed my perspective and my business plan,
And that's what made me excited about when Antonio hit me up. I was like, I've seen this guy actually going hard on Instagram, and more specifically, like, I just kind of keep an eye on what you're doing, because I want to find those people that are aware of what the next how you should be doing business in 2018.
Right.
Yeah, there's the networking part of it, but for me, it makes me happy to see that legitimately. Like, I want to see who the people that in different industries are going to be the next influencers in those realms. But you got something really good going on here.
I appreciate it.
So, and I could tell that you put a lot of effort into all of this, even like your whole setup right now.
Yeah.
You got the Facebook Live, smart man.
Hey, Sosa, actually, I was gonna tell you the microphone might be covered. The microphone's on the bottom.
Oh, is it?
But yeah, I mean, sorry, it's just something that we're always thinking about too. Like,
it's a work in progress.
Like just like you said, the setup. It's like, what can we prove? Because we learned.
Just the iPhone. Cause now
it started with the iPhone. We started with only the iPhone.
You guys can buy those little spider stands for like $12.
Yeah, we have some. We have a spider stand.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean that's really what it comes down to is progress. It's just starting it. I knew I wanted to start a podcast. Had no idea what the hell we were doing.
Yeah.
But we just started it. This is episode 12. I could tell you for sure that I'm so excited to say this is episode 100. This is episode 1000. That's gonna be the shit. And hopefully we can look back at that moment in time to this moment when I'm looking forward to that moment. But it's really cool when you do understand where it's going, I think. And the people that do reach out to me and tell me, hey, I listened to the podcast. I'm like, holy shit, you listen? Like, it surprises me because I'm not doing this for the viewers,
Right.
I'm doing this because I know it's going to build something great, especially highlighting a lot of entrepreneurs, influencers, people like you.
So if you don't mind me asking, I know this is like I also want to ask you questions because I'm
For
kind of
sure.
curious to see where you plan on going things. Because I'm a online marketer at heart, so I'm just kind of curious what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're into real estate. You're also into what else? Like loans, or do you just do real estate?
No, I just do real estate.
Okay.
So that's my focus right now, real estate.
Okay.
Buy, sell,
Okay.
Residential, commercial, anything.
Okay, cool. So is that your ultimate goal, is to be like the kingpin of real estate, or is that just a portion of where you want to go?
So that's kind of a big portion of where I want to go. Ultimately, I think whatever you do, you have to be the best at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So me, I've been doing real estate for a year and a half.
Okay.
And I know the way marketing works,
Mm-hmm.
and I know the way creating a brand works, and creating a culture even.
Right.
So ultimately, where I want to go with this, some of my long-term goals are to be the number one realtor in El Paso, to be the number one resource in El Paso. But not only resource in El Paso, and that's kind of my brand. I'm the real estate resource,
Okay.
So when I introduce myself, it's Manny Carrera, your real estate resource.
Interesting.
But what I've noticed is through my videos,
Mm-hmm.
through the content and the value that I'm producing and providing,
Mm-hmm.
people outside of El Paso, realtors outside of El Paso, are asking me for advice. I've been doing this for a year and a half.
Interesting.
So long term, I do definitely want to be the number one real estate agent here in El Paso.
Right.
I want to have the number one podcast, the number one real estate podcast for sure here in El Paso and nationwide. I want to have the number one, vlog. I want to be great at everything that I do. But long term, what I do see is, I've always wanted to be a mentor. I've always wanted to teach and empower people and motivate people. That to me drives me more than receiving a check. I really legit. I said this the other day to an agent. I realized about a year and a half ago, even before I started making money in real estate, I realized that money doesn't motivate me anymore. What motivates me more is putting out content that people can relate to, and what motivates me even way more than that is empowering somebody that had no tools to be successful, and then I watch them become successful.
Yeah.
That's really what empowers me. So long term, I definitely want to be that.
This is why. Are you on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to be on YouTube.
Yeah. I'm on YouTube. We're on YouTube. We got our.
And
our
the only
content
reason
on
I
YouTube.
say that is because that is one of the weirdest formats for content. Mostly because, like, let's say I used to have a channel, and I still own it. But
Talk to me about your YouTube channel. I checked it out.
You did? Did you really? Oh, man.
You got a lot of subscribers, bro.
I do, but it's like I stopped 2 years ago.
Why?
Well, the thing is, and this is where we get into the personal stuff, right? It was I was in a
Let's get
relationship.
personal.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? So I was in a relationship for about 5 years. It ended this past November or so. Still hurts. No, I'm just kidding. It's I'm gonna do all right. But in between this whole relationship, I had started this. I started this channel because I was very much into, for me, I was into personal development. More specifically, I was into how do I learn to talk to strangers, and then more specifically, how do I learn to talk to women? Because I was just a total in high school, I was your band geek. I was your standard nice guy, quote unquote nice guy. I was just that person that was kind of a pushover, and I was the person that wasn't really. I didn't have a backbone, which meant I didn't really have the drive or the. I was lacking a lot, and I knew that. But
You were lacking a lot in the woman aspect, as far as talking to.
Yeah, that was
being
the
social
biggest
with-
portion of
okay.
it. But I mean, I was just kind of lacking a personality essentially because I was too busy being a yes man.
Yeah.
And I realized because I was such a yes man, I just wasn't meeting women. They weren't attracted to me. I was there oh, this is my guy friend. I was the friend zone guy. Oh man, it was bad. I was the friend zone guy. It was the worst. The worst. But I mean that kind of geared me into a different direction as far as who I wanted to be. Right, I was I don't want to be this dude the rest of my life. So I started researching. I found certain groups and certain channels and resources, forums. I get into these weird not downward spirals, but rabbit holes of information. There's so many communities out there that you just would not expect. It's crazy. But there's somebody out there that'll help you with almost anything, virtually anything.
Where can you find these people, and what kind of searches can you do?
Facebook
or what?
Well, specifically, it's a brand that I really love. These guys were under a lot of fire with like the media and stuff. They go by Real Social Dynamics, and it's a group that it started off from the roots of how do we get laid, right? Like a lot of guys just want to figure out how do I get laid, like how do I even get a girl's number for write that one down. But what's funny is that like when I really got into it over let's just say about 2-3 years of being into it, I realized you know what, the advice they're giving you has been out there for ages. Just be yourself, have boundaries, just be someone, be self-confident, have high self-esteem, but all of that advice you can't take to heart unless you do the practice, you do the daily dirties of like going up to someone, getting rejected, and going up to someone else and getting rejected. It's kind of like the trial and error. You just have to do it whether you like it or not. There's no secret pill, there's no magic word or pickup line you're going to say, and at the end of the day you just become someone that you're comfortable in your own skin as. Right. And you
learn to love yourself, be comfortable with yourself.
Yeah. And the thing is about that whole group is a lot of people think it's creepy because it's like, oh, he's learning how to get laid, he's probably using tricks or whatever. That's the biggest insult to women. Like because it's that easy to convince a woman to sleep with you, right? That's the biggest insult that you could ever think of when it comes to that whole type of culture, because really women are extremely intelligent, especially on a social level. They can spot out someone that's fake from the get-go.
Girls are the smartest creatures in the world. Violet, shout out Violet. Yeah. She's like, you're agreeing with
Brownie
me
points. Brownie points. Yes. Yeah, so that was just something I got into, and then I kind of had this realization, like, you know, it really is about who you are as a person, who you see yourself becoming, and how do you get to that point. And maybe you won't be, let's just say, the Dan Bilzerian. If you want to, I mean, go for it.
Right.
It's not for everyone. Some people just wish they could have that life.
Who is that?
He's
Dan Bilzerian. Oh yes, I know Dan.
Yeah.
Dan's badass. Huh?
Yeah. So he's got this whole persona, right?
Yeah. He's living the life.
Yeah, the Playboy millionaire type.
It's the next Hugh.
But it's just kind of like you. I realize you just have to be your better self, right? And how do you become that? And that's kind of the channel that I started. You know, how to get yourself out of the friend zone, or how to, I don't know, just I had so many, like there's at least like, I don't know, it has to be at least 100 videos out there, I'm not sure.
How often were you putting out content?
Once a week.
Yeah,
so I started in like 2000, I want to say
you're doing it for a good 2 years?
2 years. So I think I started around when I was 24, because I felt like, okay, I know enough to give some information, but I was also very skeptical about, I don't want to give people life advice because I was 24 years old. So I was just like, let me just help you with these little tiny ideas that I know I'm comfortable with, but I'm not going to cover things that haven't conquered yet, right?
Yeah.
So I started with that, and then I just kind of got into like, okay, what are people searching for? Maybe I could help them with those topics, and like figuring out SEO and all of that. And then
SEO is
search engine optimization. Oh. So I started getting into all of that, and then I started getting a rhythm. I started finding out, people like these types of videos, so I'm going to make a little bit more of those and kind of pivoting here and there. And then I made a video called Going Out Solo, because I was going out on my own for about 2 years.
Dude, I went out solo too a lot in Florida.
It's not easy.
It's not. It's scary. It's honestly like scary. I would be in my car.
Yeah.
It's like something like a mental thing. I mean, I only did it because, for one, I moved to Florida. I didn't have a lot of friends. Like, I didn't have friends or family, period. Yeah. I met people, they were mainly coworkers, but you know, when I would want to go out, they were always doing their thing, and I didn't want to not have a social life, you know?
Yeah.
So there would be times where I'd catch myself in the car, like just like,
come on, let's do this.
Come on, boys! Like just act like you're looking for somebody. Yeah. Like just walk around the club like,
hey, Joe.
Yeah, like, you know?
That's not Joe.
But until I was comfortable enough to get at the bar and just chill for a little bit and have some drinks, loosen up. But
yeah, so I made that video, and
I want to see this video. We're gonna put a tag.
Yeah, right. Put it right there. Oh man.
Oh man.
I was like 24 years old, super like energetic. So this video blew up, and now not blew up like on Gary Vaynerchuk level, but for me, blowing up was I was used to like 100 views, 80 views. It took a long time to even get to that point. I was just like, oh shit, people are watching this. Like, I don't know how, but they're watching it. So that kept me motivated. This one blew up to about, at the time I remember it was like 50,000. Right now you can check it's probably about 80,000. Maybe 70,000.
Blown up.
But it's right now it was one of the top searches for like when you would search going out solo or whatever. It was the #1 spot. Now there's a lot of other videos of people that probably like that are much more known. But that was 2-3 years ago when I made that.
Did you monetize that?
You know what? I never wanted to do the YouTube ads. One, because I had to do it. I kind of wish I did.
Now you got to.
I would have made. Let's just say, how much do you make? Like a penny for every.
I think so. I don't know.
Penny for every 1,000 people or something.
I could have. I had
impressions.
an account that was monetized.
Yeah, so I probably would have made like a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 off of that, being 50,000, 60,000 or something. To me, it was like you. Like I just wanted to give value. Like I just wanted to help these dudes that I knew were in a tough spot because I was in that spot for a while. And that one blew up, and then the next one I did probably got close to about 30,000 or something like that, and the rest were kind of like in the early thousands, through 3,000, 4,000 or something like that, and it kept me motivated in doing things. But then I was in this relationship, so I had to decide, okay, am I going to continue giving?
You got to get boyfriend advice now.
Yeah, and I was like, am I going to continue giving guys advice on dating stuff when I'm in a relationship and I can't do the whole going out as much as I wish I could? Or am I going to invest into the relationship, right? It's one or the other. So I kind of just let it fizzle out. But even that being the case, 2 years later, I still get people writing comments. I still get followers. I think when I stopped, I was at about 1,200. And the numbers grew in the past 2 years. 1,200 followers or subscribers. Now I think it's reached like 2,000. I don't even check anymore.
It's close to 2,000.
Okay, yeah, it's probably close to, yeah.
Well, the Sosa marketing team.
You did some research.
The Sosa research team.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, but it went up in a huge amount. Now imagine if I was actually still putting effort into that. It would have gone a lot higher.
Because you could have focused how we were backtracking to those 1,000 people that were watching your stuff, redirected videos towards them, retargeted videos for them.
Yeah.
And your followers could have probably been in the 20,000.
Oh yeah, I would have been in a whole different industry if that had been the case.
Now that you know what you know. You know? Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's really a weird direction. I didn't expect it to go into that channel.
We're gonna tag his channel. What's your channel name?
Bro Hugs and Backslaps. Yeah. That's a weird name.
But that's honestly, that's really cool, man. I mean, as funny as it sounds and as maybe shitty as it sounds to some people, like, oh, you're trying to get laid. I don't think it's so much of that. I think you're really giving advice to some people that really need it.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of guys too that, you know, in high school or in college that, or even just now, like, I mean, I'm not necessarily that I feel bad for them. It's just going out. I know that they want to be in a relationship, but I know that there's a lot of self-confidence that's lacking. I know that there's a lot.
They have to build it somehow.
Yeah, and it's really hard for you to build it. Really hard, especially if you weren't born with it, you know? Like, I'm very confident in anything and everything that I do. I can go out, I can be comfortable with what I do, but there's not everybody that does that. So those videos, I could definitely see how it's still providing value, you know, for people, for dudes.
Yeah.
My dudes. You guys need help picking up on chicks or just talking to girls, right?
I mean, I haven't given advice on that crap in years now. I mean, I still...
Are you single now or still with your girlfriend?
No, I'm single now, but it's just kind of...
making a comeback. Don't call it a comeback. Don't call it a comeback.
For years.
Hey, you gotta talk talk about dating now that you're 28 because your boy is single too. So.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you could give me some advice.
Oh, here we go. Maybe we should get a third whiskey. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn, bro.
Man, that's a weird topic, man. Dating, 'cause especially right now in 2018, the world now versus 2012, 2014. I can barely say anything without getting some backlash now, just because we're so sensitive now. You know
I think dating nowadays is is transformed into a new beast that you really have to understand. Especially if you're dating and you're using social media.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, there's adults that I know that are single. Mom. Just kidding. But that are using social media, and I'm having to explain a lot of stuff on what this means, and you shouldn't post stuff like this, and you need to be careful with this, and you should ignore messages like, you know, because social media and dating have transformed into their own beast. Like, dating back in the days was I think it was badass, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was so badass. 'cause
Much
it
more
was
genuine.
very genuine, very face to face. You know, a lot of interaction. Nowadays, it's like you like somebody's comment and that's flirting, and you know, it's like
It's weird.
it's really weird.
And the weird thing
If
is,
you don't
is
understand it.
you and I are kind of in the middle of both worlds, right? Because we're the same age. So we saw it happen, but we were also, I don't know about you, but I remember in middle school, like, terrified to call like the girl I liked her number, and her dad answers, and I'm like, oh
well,
shit.
because you had to
like,
talk to the parents.
You had to talk, or somebody was gonna answer. You know, if
You
it
have
was
to
the
know the last
brother,
name.
if
Hey,
it
what's
was
your
the-
last name?
Yeah.
Rodriguez. Okay. Hey, Miss Rodriguez.
Yeah.
This is Manny, your boy.
Yeah, it's weird. It was
Yeah.
weird, and it was just kind of like you had to really like fight those nerves to
Yeah,
like talk
definitely.
to someone you want to.
But
talk
not only that, you didn't only have to fight those nerves. You also had to develop social skills,
Yeah.
which I think nowadays a lot of people lack.
Yeah.
You could be into a girl and talking to her on DM, and you guys are vibing and everything because there's emojis involved and gifs involved and ways to express everything.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Then you go on a date and you get in person and it's like,
Quiet. What are we talking about?
where are the gifs? Where are the gifs?
God, I'm so much funnier with gifs. You know, like
Super hilarious with gifs.
Yeah.
Because they do everything for me, you know.
Yeah.
But that's really where it's at, is social skills, and that's one of the reasons why I hated Verizon. It was just like social skills. I fucking can't stand these people aren't making eye contact with me.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is, you know. It's
Yeah.
just the world that we've adapted to.
And if I were to ever, let's just say, get back onto that whole train of like the bro hugs and backslaps, I think it would be more on the lines of like social skills. Like how do you, and that's kind of that's such a subjective and such a hard topic to teach a guy, especially if he's just super awkward in person or autistic or whatever.
because now
it might
you're
be.
talking about two different worlds: the
It's-
social world and the personal world.
Yeah,
the
but it's kind of
face-to-face.
like I can't explain how I could use the same, like, let's just say opener or whatever it is this dude says, and he could scare them off, and I could be still okay.
Yeah.
Like, and they won't understand that. They're like, but I said what you told me to say. And it's like, no, you came off creepy.
But you
know,
said
and it's
it
like-
and your eye was kind of twitchy.
Yeah.
And you were drooling.
Yeah,
it
like,
didn't work.
I don't know what you did, but you scared them off. I don't know what you said.
Because presentation's everything too.
Presentation,
And
how you hold yourself.
Yeah, and girls could know. I mean, anybody, guys or girls,
Mhm.
they could see confidence, and you cannot see confidence. You can see right through somebody, you know. So, I think it definitely is something hard to teach, but maybe you can find that niche and come back and.
Maybe.
You know?
I mean, I don't even know if I want to get into that world, man. It's just
Yeah.
it's such a rabbit hole on its own. Like like I said earlier, like I want to just focus on one thing.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
get really good at
definitely.
it.
Master of one.
Yeah, jack of all trades and
Yeah.
master of none. So it's crazy, dude. That's the internet at work, man. Like I'm curious to see. I don't know if you hang around much younger, like kids, like maybe see like 21, 20, 19.
Yeah. Well, sure.
I love like seeing what they're interacting with and versus what I am.
Right.
They're keeping me in tune with like a lot of like trends and like
Keeping you up to
culture.
date, especially in the language and social and
I just want to know what's going on.
Interesting. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, I just want to stay relevant. I plan on doing that for the rest of my life, which most old people don't want to do that because they're
Right.
like, you damn kids, you know, like whatever, just leave me alone.
I really want to be like Gary when I'm older, like just like
Yeah.
40,
There's no
40
reason you
years
can't
old,
be.
47 years old, and just like I'm the leader of the social media. You kids are following me.
Yeah, they're
like,
following you.
You guys are learning from me.
Yeah,
That's when you really know that you're ahead and super informed of the game.
definitely.
You know, because he's been
Yeah.
for the last 15 years.
Yeah, what's crazy is I have, because I work at that co-work space, the Oasis co-work.
Oh, you
co-work
work there?
Oasis, yeah, it's a badass spot.
Talk to me a little bit about that place, because I know I've seen a lot of Instagram pictures of
Okay.
that place and stuff.
So it's a tech-driven co-work space. So have you ever heard of like 1-1 or the Station or any of these places in El Paso?
No.
Have you heard of WeWork? It's like a multi-billion-dollar business.
Horrible.
Okay.
No.
So WeWork is kind of the beginning of co-work spaces, and essentially what WeWork is a place for. It's not so much that you're renting out an office. It's just an open format building or
You
floor.
show up whichever office is available. type thing, or-
Yeah, that maybe if you could go up the value ladder and pay more, and you'll have your own office,
Okay.
or you have just a monthly membership and you get access to the kitchen, the coffee, the wine, the beer.
What's a monthly membership? Rate?
For like let's say co-work, sorry, it's like about $150 for the monthly membership. I'm essentially paying rent for like a much cheaper rate than if I were to have my own office, but I have
Right.
access to like a conference room. I have multiple.
I'm about to pay. I just got a new office, so
Uh-huh.
I'm about to pay $400.
Yeah, and that's even super cheap.
Yeah,
That's super
no,
cheap,
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
But I mean, the biggest benefit more than anything from those co-work spaces is you're introduced to people you wouldn't have met otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So I just might stick with co-work spaces because of the experiences I've had there. And the reason for that being I'm surrounded by startups, by IP lawyers, intellectual property lawyers, foundations, nonprofits.
The network's there.
I mean, just people that aren't in my network normally.
Right.
And I see them on a day-to-day basis. And let's say like I'll be working on a campaign and the IP lawyer sits behind me. He's like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I'm like, shit. Okay. Like, why? And then he explains it to me. But there's certain conversations you have that I just wouldn't have had at a Starbucks, or I wouldn't have had at even my own office space because I'm only talking to people that I hired. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a weird dynamic, but I definitely recommend it for anybody, especially if you're starting up. If you become, you know, like this big beast that you kind of need your own space, I mean, you know, by all means go. I don't want anybody to just stay at a co-work space.
Yeah.
But it's a good place to start. I definitely recommend that type of environment. For
I've had a
anyone.
couple friends that have gone and they've talked really highly of it. They said that they've met some cool people there. So
Yeah.
that's really cool, man. So, you know, back on the business, digital empire, growing the business, what were some of the biggest mistakes or lessons that you had, you and Luke? Because I know you guys started this a year and a half ago, right?
Mhm.
Starting a business in general can be new to anybody. It doesn't
Right.
matter what type of business you're building. What were some of those lessons that you guys had to go through, those trials, tribulations?
So, okay. Man, we have so many mistakes that we've made. I think one of the biggest being, I guess it would have to do with pricing. And let's just say underpricing our services just for the sake of getting the customer.
Okay.
Those almost always tend to be the biggest pains in the ass. The ones that pay the less want the
Oh
most.
my
I
God,
don't know
yes.
what it is, but
That's just in general in
that's
life.
Yeah, and I've heard it before, and I didn't believe it until
No, it happened.
because I just
It's
wanted
real.
the business that bad, and
Yeah.
it always bit me in the ass. So that was probably one of the biggest mistakes.
Now, do you think that there's certain times and, you know, maybe times in somebody starting a business that you have to kind of do that, or you have to kind of undervalue your, you know,
Yeah. So
your
I'm getting
services?
we're getting a lot more confident with how we price ourselves because we know our true value, because we now have the case studies and the proof
Right.
in the pudding to show them, look, we've already gotten these results before, we can do it again. Now, nothing's a guarantee, but us personally are more confident now when somebody's like, can we just pay you, I don't know, $300? And we're like, no, like
Right.
that's not, we can do this for 300, but we're not going to do that.
We're not gonna give you the whole
Yeah,
package.
yeah, and it's kind of like us being adjusting based on their request. We can always meet halfway. I'm okay with that, but we always make it clear you're losing a lot of opportunity by doing that. Are you okay with that?
Right.
And it keeps our boundaries strong. It keeps us firm in our beliefs and not too loose on what it is that we do for our customers.
Right.
We are willing to go lower if we see like some kind of opportunity in the future, like let's say with a networking group or someone that, like an agency that has
Right.
a lot of strong contacts that they've already converted into customers. We'll definitely meet them halfways and lower our prices because we know there's a bigger return
Right.
possible with that as far as getting more clients.
more business.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things. It's just like how do we protect ourselves but also keep everyone happy?
Right.
It's not easy at all.
Yeah. So those were some of the mistakes you made. You went undervalued yourself and kind of bit you in the ass.
Yeah, but I mean it's also a blessing in disguise, right? It showed us a lot. Like, okay, we know not to do that again. Or
Right.
we learn from every mistake. We don't ever take victim mentality with all of it
Yeah.
because that's not going to
Victim
do us
mentality is
anything.
a losing mentality, right?
Yeah, it's not going to do us any good.
Yeah.
It's just going to send you down some other path that
Yeah.
isn't worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely. And if you do have a victim mentality, pick up Grant Cardone's 10X rule, Chapter 7.
Yes, another one.
Chapter
Good.
7, don't be a
Good.
little bitch.
Don't be a little bitch.
Dude, honestly, I'm not lying. That book spoke to me. That chapter. as funny as it sounds, I was being a little bitch at the time. Like, for real. Like, I was at a point in my life, and this was a couple years ago, but I was just at a point in my life where I picked up that book and I read it, and when I got to that chapter and I read the first fucking line, I was just like, holy shit, dude, like, are you talking to me? You're whispering in my ear, you know? But having a victim mentality, I think, is something that is the worst, you know, and it really takes self-awareness to understand that you're in that victim mentality, because I was there. I was blaming everybody and everything for myself until I realized, yo, it's you, you know, it's you, and that's when turning that corner, changing that mindset can really change.
Yeah, and I think I'm really into also like anthropology and like biology and kind of like why do we think the way we do and why do we do the weird shit that we do as humans and whatever. And one thing I've kind of realized is there's a lot of things that are very easy to do, and victim mentality is very easy. It's easy to blame other people.
It's the easiest way out.
It's easy. It just makes you, and it makes you feel more comfortable that it wasn't your fault.
Right.
It's hard to go against your ego and admit you did wrong.
Right.
It's fucking hard to do that.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Especially if you have that much pride, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we all do. I mean, especially men, we're very egotistical. You know what I mean?
Especially
like
Mexican men, right?
Machismo is a different thing.
Machismo. El Sosa.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. Violet, his wife is saying hell no.
A good book on ego is I think it's called Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. He was he used to be the marketing director for like American Apparel. He worked under Robert Greene as like his research assistant. He worked with a bunch of names. Tim Ferriss. He worked with Tim Ferriss quite a bit. But he's really big on stoicism and like I don't know if you've ever heard that philosophy like back in the Greek times, like stoicism and Epicureanism.
No.
So think of Epicureanism as YOLO, like you only live once, so just fucking fuck shit up,
Just do it,
party X, and like just kind of like have a good time no matter what, right? Wake up and repeat, right?
Yeah.
So that's Epicureanism. It's like you only live once, so might as well make the most of it and just have fun, right?
Yeah.
Stoicism was you only live once, so
Take
you better,
advantage.
Yeah, take advantage of this blessing you have of a life. Now, just because you only have one life doesn't mean you're supposed to enjoy life like in the sense
not
of
give
like
a fuck.
Yeah,
you know?
not give a fuck. But it's actually where are you going to give a fuck, and what's worth suffering over. So we're all going to suffer in one way or another. What's worth suffering to get to the point to where you want to be?
Yeah.
So that's stoicism to kind of its core, and
That's insane. I feel like I'm a little mix of the two because I'm sometimes YOLO,
and that's
but I'm most of the time
fine.
like legacy. I want to build something. I want to have fun in the meantime while I'm doing it, but you know,
and there's no
end game is definitely
there's no
legacy.
truth in the black or white, right? There's no any extreme is never the truth. It's always somewhere in the gray area, in between. But that's a whole other subject. I don't even know how much time you guys have for this podcast.
This podcast goes and goes and goes.
That's cool.
It's a forever podcast.
Those are the ones that I actually listen to. It's funny. People ask me like, when do you have time to listen to 3-hour podcasts?
Yeah. I think this podcast went from business to we were talking about girls,
dating.
talking about, you know. So
went deep today, man.
Yeah. He did give me a little heads up.
Okay. Oh, really? What'd you talk about?
No, he told me. Yeah, he said that. He said it was gonna be a good podcast, and I think it has been so far. You know.
No, this is a lot
definitely. So I guess kind of tying back to your entrepreneurial background, you being a business owner. What advice would you have for anybody that is watching or listening on iTunes that is interested in starting or getting into digital? You know, they're already into it. They already see the digital world, where it's going to be in the next 10 years. You kind of said it yourself, you know, starting, you're glad that you started when you started, because if you started now, you'd have been playing catch up, you know? So what kind of advice would you have for somebody that is interested in the digital marketing world?
Okay.
Barely getting into it, but maybe wants to do what you're doing, you know, in the near future, and have that firm, have that business where they can be, you know, helping out other businesses.
Before you answer, that was actually one of the questions. Phone was like at 2%, so I put it up. To tie that in there as well with a business who wants to be exposing themselves, a new business. So like just what he was saying, but the question kind of goes with it. What advice would you have for a business starting off?
For a business that's starting off from ground zero. Work with what you got. Work with what you gotta do. I mean, if you have a budget to invest into like Facebook ads and at the moment Facebook ads, Google AdWords are a little bit expensive, but Instagram ads are still in the Facebook ads world.
Because Facebook and Instagram are super integrated.
You
could run an Instagram. You could run an ad from Facebook or Instagram on both.
Right, because Facebook owns Instagram, right? So they bought them out a while ago. Right now, that's the gold rush. The gold rush is Facebook and Instagram.
Those are the two.
Just
I love it too.
Focus on those right now. Enjoy it while it's hot. It's not going to be that way forever.
Right. This is the land grab of 2018. You know.
Oh, for sure. And we're already seeing the kind of that downward. We're kind of seeing that slope where it reached its rise, and I think that moment now we're kind of plateauing, and I think it's going on the and on top of that. It's also raising the price on how much it costs
to reach. I've noticed that, especially on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Facebook has really increased. I've been doing ads since probably July of last year.
Okay.
And, before it was $10 to reach $8, probably $8 to reach like 1,200 people.
Yeah.
And now it's costing you about $18 to reach about 1,200 people.
Yeah. And there are ways around that. There are ways. Okay, so when it comes to Facebook ads, it's its own science on its own.
Yeah.
And this is where, and I've talked to like the Sosas about this. Like, there's a lot of moving parts in this whole online marketing world. When it comes to Facebook ads, it's all about targeting the niches. Like I said, it's not about targeting everybody. It's about targeting just the niches. Mm-hmm. Now, if you piss off Facebook, and you're starting to tell them something on the lines of, no. Are you good?
Yeah, we have this audio.
Ooh, let's use this. We're using that. I didn't hit record.
Oh no! I went through that so many times.
We need to do those 10-minute little breaks.
The breaks.
We need to bring them back just to make sure everything's good.
It does help me sync up.
It's because I was testing and I hit record and I was testing and I was like, okay, let's do it, and then we just kind of started. It just went so quick.
I thought you were joking.
Maybe just 2 strategic time breaks.
Okay. Well, podcast. You guys are listening to us learn. We just forgot to hit record. I just realized that we're not recording on the blue microphone that we have for a podcast, but we still got the Canon mic up and running. Plan B. Always got a plan B.
Dude,
always got a plan B, and thank God I'm working with the marketing team that I'm working with.
Smart.
The Sosas planning for.
I can't tell you how many times that happened to me when I would do my YouTube, my channel. There was always the stupidest things would happen. Either I forgot to put batteries in the recorder, I pressed play and I didn't press play. Stuff, dude, you never know what this.
Hey, but this is fun. I really love every Wednesday. Like every single Wednesday for the last 12 weeks, we've been doing this, and
something to look forward to. Right?
This is honestly our favorite day because after this we go eat pizza and drink some wine.
And that's not your favorite day, like,
dude.
Wow. That means a lot. Then
this is our favorite day.
Because pizza and wine is pretty.
Pizza,
solid.
Wine, podcast, whiskey.
That's your next podcast right there,
bro.
And you learn something from everyone.
Actually, that was last Wednesday because we interviewed the owner of the place that we always go every Wednesday. We Cafe Italia.
Oh yeah.
You tried it?
That's a good spot.
West side or east side?
The west side one.
West side, okay.
I didn't know there was an east side one.
Go to the east side, bro.
Okay.
We went to the east side last week. That's where the owner's always at, and
nice.
There's a lot of things on the menu that aren't on the west side over here.
Interesting.
They have a lot of desserts that are to die for, right? It's just a really good it was an experience last time.
Like, come bring this, bring that, bring this.
Yeah, he was just like,
it's like you're in chef's station.
Wow.
It's like you're in chef's station.
Like they're all like.
We walked out. I went to sleep like 3 hours, 2 hours after that. Like,
it was our best dining experience in El Paso.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Really?
It was really great.
It was cool.
Go to the east side.
Cafe Italia.
Yeah, Cafe Italia. Shout out to Danny out at Cafe Italia. He's actually a really, really fun person to talk to. He has so much knowledge about pizza in general.
I think it's because he's passionate. And
he's very passionate about his job.
You
It's
put
really good.
restaurants perfectly. You're either gonna be crazy to start one, or you have a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's really what. And I don't think he was the money part. He said he was crazy. You know, he's like, I'm crazy.
No.
Crazy as fuck.
Dude, I remember Cafe Italia when it started as a tiny little brick oven place far west.
Yeah.
And then
they moved over
they
here.
started
by
there.
the
Remember he was
plaza.
telling us about the location that they started?
Yeah, I went there years ago, dude. I went like a long time ago. And it was cool because it was the first like brick oven type of pizza place in El Paso. Just something gourmet. It was like that wasn't heard of in El Paso like 8 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how long he's been in business, but 11 years.
Yeah, but it was new.
Good for him.
Yeah, Cafe Italia. Shout out to them. They make some really bomb ass pizza, man.
I'm gonna look into the east side. I had no idea there was.
East side. Go to east side. It's off Joe Battle in between Pebble Hills and Edgemere. Off Joe Battle, Pebble Hills and Edgemere. You confuse me so bad.
It's east side.
Cool, man. So, kind of wrapping up the podcast. I mean, we talked a lot about the business. Talked a lot about social media in general. I mean, you blew my mind a lot. Like, I know voice. I know voice is where it's at, and that's why we're doing podcasts. You know, but what you told me just kind of painted a better picture for me. And it's like I'm like, it's exciting. I'm super nervous, but I'm fucking like more pumped than anything, because if I could reach people while they're listening to their AirPods, skateboarding and San Jacinto to pull up my website or do whatever or go somewhere, that's fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody could whisper in your ear, "Hey, go there." Like, what the fuck? You know, that's really insane. Talking a little bit about the business, about some of the struggles that you started and everything like that. You have a really good story, man. It's crazy because a lot of people don't really understand what digital marketing is. And even me, that I'm so into social and so into the marketing sense. Yeah. It was really hard for me to, before the podcast, understand exactly what you did. Yeah. But learning about the lead generation and retargeting and focusing on the people, the 1,000 that are actually watching your content and videos. It's really, really interesting what you do, man. So kind of tell the audience a little bit about how they can reach you and, what they may be looking for as far as packages or what you kind of offer to people.
So you can reach me at digitalempiremrkt.com. I would have had digitalempire.com, but someone bought it years ago and it's running for about $16,000. Yeah, so I'm not gonna buy that.
Yo, domains.
I'm not gonna buy that domain. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy that domain. So digitalempiremrkt.com, or you can also email me at mike@digitalempiremrkt.com.
Where can people find you on social?
Social, Instagram is my biggest one. Mike.empire is my handle for Instagram. Facebook is just more like personal stuff. Instagram's just where I put my focus on. I built a Twitter again maybe this year, because I got off of it. I was the first wave of the Twitter people that was like, I was using my cell phone and like texting my Twitter and stuff. But then after about 5-6 years, because it's been around since like 2008, maybe 7. I kind of got bored of it, and I was like, this is an old social media now. Now all the kids are on Twitter.
Yeah, dude. Like I just realized that too. Like a lot of my friends use Twitter, and I'm like, holy fucking shit! I've been thinking for the last 10 years, and this is not fucking a lie. Yeah. For the last 10 years, I've been thinking, should I fucking do a Twitter or not? And I'm like, how ridiculous does that sound? I've been thinking about it for the last 10 years. Yeah. So I made a Twitter. I made a Twitter. I have a Twitter. I haven't posted anything. I haven't even logged in. I don't know how that works.
So on Twitter, it's MikeEmpire_. I'm almost sure that's it.
MikeEmpire_.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And how does that work as far as, businesses reaching out to you, wanting to use your services? Is this more of a package thing, or is there like a consultation that you do?
It's all custom. Everyone's a different problem. Everyone has a different problem they have to solve, and generally, we always start low, and some people aren't bought in yet, so we do consulting for them, and we'll teach them how to do things on their own if they just don't have the budget to hire a team or hire us. And we'll give them all of our secrets. Now, we're more than happy to give all those secrets away, because we know very few people can actually
100%. We always do.
Jump on those.
Okay, we always say that. We always say it on here, and I always say that because one reason why I want to give so much value, even to realtors, I'll share with you everything that I know, everything that I'm doing, because at the end of the day, 98% of the people will not use it or implement it, and the people that do, I'm confident that they don't even have the same
work ethic. You're already 5 years ahead of them.
So why not share with them? No, there's no shortage of success. there's no shortage of it, and when you realize that, I think that's what makes you successful.
Abundance only comes to those with abundance.
100.
Yeah, that's the way I see it.
100%.
Is that how we end it?
Yeah, dude, that was like so freaking awesome. Such a freaking. So for those of you guys listening on iTunes and on YouTube, we don't have any live, so I can't tell them to watch next week. But you know, every single Wednesday we're featuring a new guest. This Wednesday we got Mike Cortez, the owner of Digital Empire,
Thanks for having me, man.
going over his entrepreneur experience and a little bit of information, a lot of information on the social world. I mean, you even blew my mind, my marketing team's mind. You know, it's just crazy to know and understand how this social media world that we're living in is going. I don't think a lot of people are understanding, you know?
Yeah.
And even me, like, I feel like I understand, but I know I don't understand.
You don't know what you don't know sometimes, and you just gotta go find it. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm still learning a lot of shit. Like, there's so much to learn.
Yeah, definitely.
That's just opportunity.
Definitely. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed, you know, Mike Cortez's story, and you know, if you guys are interested in the services, make sure you guys reach out to him, and tune in every single Wednesday as we interview entrepreneurs, influencers, movers, and shakers such as Mike Cortez out here drinking some whiskey. You need to chug yours before we take off, bro.
Was it four roses or something? Or?
This is Four Roses. This is Four Roses, and you know, every week we feature a new whiskey. That's part of the Whiskey Wednesday podcast tradition, and having some really good whiskey, having some really good guests on. So really excited for next week, and hopefully you guys stay tuned. You know, episode 1000's on its way.
Cool.
See you guys soon. Take care.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, brother.